So I think that a very important point is that in all types of government, ranging from democracies to socialism, communism, of any sort of authoritarian and fascist sort of rule, all forms of government ultimately derive their power from the governed. Now, this can be hard to see in like an authoritarian government because in a democracy, you can see the connection more clearly. In theory, the leader would directly derive their power from their supporters. But in an authoritarian regime, the interplay is a little bit more subtle because they do derive power from their supporters, but their supporters are usually far less numerous than they claim. They also derive power from bureaucratic organizations, the military, even like in the US, other branches of the government, like um, the Supreme Court or Congress. But again, it is largely with those organizations' consent. Like Congress has, in essence, consented to hand over their power to the executive branch. They didn't have to do that. Also, though, it's important to remember that a large amount of power in authoritarian regimes is actually derived from the people who oppose the regime but are terrorized or bullied into remaining silent, into inaction. Because that silence and inaction creates the power structure within which the authoritarian government can wield their power with impunity. In fact, I would say in many cases they derive more power from those that they intimidate into silence and cooperation than they do from their actual supporters. Because once the authoritarian regime has fully taken hold, there are more of those individuals who are merely staying silent out of a sense of self preservation than there ever were of supporters. So it's important to remember that because that gives us a level of agency. Now, speaking out and taking action, I'm not saying they may not be difficult or even dangerous, but remember, it is always a choice that we make, and our choices determine our future.